So this video is going to be about burning bridges, right? Because people have asked me. You haven't really done videos that are more like HershNoeie. It's been a lot about Tacoma or whatever. So it's early in the morning, just now starting to get my coffee in me, and I want to talk about burning bridges because it's kind of something that personally I can really talk about, right? Not that I burn bridges with people, but it happens to me, and then kind of what I would do. So someone had asked me that, what would you do if someone has burned bridges? And my question back to them would be, is it worth it to build a bridge back with that person? Because if it isn't, then just keep it moving, right? I'm one of the people who I try to do folks as or treat people as nice as I possibly can. I try to never be the first. My mom taught me never be the first person to throw the first punch, but be the person that throws the last punch. Because you never want to start something. You want to be always someone that people can look up to and not look down on. And so that also, I took that to mean that when people do you dirty, you don't just keep taking that. You know, as I got older and started dating, I told my friend she was going through a divorce at the time and she wanted to know, like, oh, I'm dating these guys. It's been difficult for me because I haven't dated in a long time. She was married for a bit and I don't know what to do. And I told her, I said, the three strike rule. California has this three strike rule that you do three crimes, you're in prison forever or something like that. And I said, give them three chances if back to back. There's times when you can forgive some and let them fall off after a long period of time, but three strikes, you're out. Doesn't matter what the circumstances, doesn't matter how good looking they are, doesn't matter, none of that. Be very heavy with that. And you weed out a lot of issues. You don't want someone that's not going to be pulling their own with you. And I think that friendships and things like that are also the same way. You shouldn't be the one that's constantly trying to make the friendship work when the other person's not trying to do that. It's not worth it. And again, that's why my level of friends are very tiny. There are people who I know or who I have that's considered to be associates, but I don't necessarily consider them friends, only based on their interactions. We may have started off as friends, but over time that's kind of dwindled down to something else. And so I have a lot of people that I would probably put in that category, only because I feel like friendship should be something that both people put a lot of effort into, or you put some sort of effort into on a mutual basis. It's just not one-sided. So with that said, to answer this person whether or not they should build a bridge back, I question, the reasons for why the bridge was burned down by the other person to begin with. Because that's going to be a huge thing. For me, again, I not only people I had dated, I gave a three strike rule, but friendship as well. If I am friends with someone and they do something that is wrong to me, then I basically either confront them about it or I'm like, okay, it depends on what it is. I'm like, all right. And I remember that. But let's say something else happens again that they do that just kind of out of nowhere wasn't cool. Then I look at that as strike two. And then back to back something else. Or, as I told them, there's some things that are considered a felony. They do something so bad that it's like not forgivable, just move on. Now, some people question that, but I'm telling you, the more you give people enough latitude, they're going to basically choke you with it. And I've learned that the hard way many times. So I may not necessarily say something to you, I just will cut you out and not deal with you. I can still be nice, I can still wave, I can still, smile at you. But as far as really and truly rocking with you that way, I just won't. You see what I'm saying? Like, I still will hold a conversation with a person and all of that. But as far as like being back to where it was, or being the giving you as much help and advice and information and everything that I can, Not going to happen. Now, I have people that I know that are friends of mine that live in a completely different state, and I can say for a fact that they're friends. If they needed help or something like that or whatever, absolutely I would. Because, I mean, they've been solid 100%. You know what I mean? But there are people that are here that I know of that have burned bridges for no reason. It's not like, I did something or we did something to make them do it. They just, whatever, they did it. Sometimes it's based out of selfishness. Sometimes it's based out of whatever. And so recently I had someone who had burned a bridge that impacted our family greatly. And that person, Noelle was like, just kind of move on from it. She didn't like it, but she was like, just move on from it. I'm like, okay, cool, but I'm not going to forget that. Well, then something else happened, and they burned another bridge, and then something else. And so now Noelle's like, I'm not rocking with them no more either. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't even say anything. I was just like, me personally, I'm just not there anymore. It just, to me, once that has happened back to back, you've soured any sort of goodwill there. So until you make that up or apologize and go about it the right way, I don't see a path forward. And of course, they're not the type that's going to apologize for anything. So it's like, okay, fine. And so now when Noelle has said she's done, then that means we definitely are done. I'm not going to go against what Noelle's, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say, well, because I was already at that point of saying I'm not really going to mess with them anymore in my own head. Like, I'll still be nice, I'll still be whatever. But as far as trying to help you in any certain circumstance, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't matter if I do it for free, if you pay me, whatever. Not going to help you, not going to really look out for you, none of that type of stuff. Because once you've done someone dirty or done me dirty, that's it. So, same individuals wanted help. And basically, Noelle, I have to say I'm proud of. Noelle used to, prior to us really being together, allow people to walk all over her. She used to let people, use her different things. And I told her, I said, there's no reason for that. Like, I think that she has finally gotten, obviously for the last few years, she has gotten to this amount of self-esteem that says, you know what, look, I'm worthy of someone treating me right. I mean, that was the reason why she knocked heads with her family when it comes to me, was because I treated her good. And she didn't understand how her friends saw us as being a wonderful couple, but her family, who didn't even know us, didn't know me, and didn't see us together that much, were knocking me. It just didn't. So it really it soured the relationship, because everybody else was cool, but yet they had an issue with, they still haven't identified concretely what that is. So it's kind of like the same situation here. This individual did some things, and some of it was intentional. It's not anything that's super massive. One of them is. But it's to the point of where it's like, you didn't have to do those things. You could easily say, something else or do something else. But yeah, and I know this is vague, but I'm trying to answer this person's question about burning bridges. So to me, not only did they burn the bridge 3 times, but they haven't even decided whether or not to apologize. They don't feel the need to apologize for burning bridges. And not only that, they're not even going to help to build the bridge back. But they still want you to ask for help. They still want to ask you for help, saying, look, you know what? I burned this bridge. There's a big gap between us. So now I want you to build that bridge back by yourself. Walk over and help me. And it's not going to work. And so Noelle saw something today where the person was asking for help and just ignored it. Because that's what I did. I saw it too, and I ignored it. But that's just how it is. So to answer your question, if someone burns a bridge, I would say think very long and hard about that, because I believe strongly that human beings, people will do to you what you allow them to do. If you allow them to walk all over you, they're going to do that. And it doesn't matter if they're family. This is something I've told my sister. Just because someone shares a bloodline with you doesn't necessarily mean they have your best interest, or that they're going to look out for you, or that they're going to take care of you, or any of that. Doesn't mean that. And in fact, sometimes family can be your worst enemy. But the family members who do treat you good are the ones that you want to obviously covet that. You want to be there. But there's some people, and everyone has it in everybody's, we have it in our family. Everyone has someone in their family where they're just a toxic individual. And I just believe in cutting out all the toxic stuff. So if someone or a group of individuals are toxic, cut it out. Now, some people don't have the heart to do that, and that's fine. But for me, I just don't function in that space anymore. I used to allow people to walk all over me too and say whatever they want, do whatever they want, and it gets old. And so my mother, God rest her soul, used to say all long lanes have a turn, which means that eventually things that keep going the same way will eventually sharply turn and change. And so for me, I wanted to change that aspect of how things were being done towards me and how I was being treated. And I would say to you, if you really and truly want to get that friendship back, sit and talk to that person. I don't know the details as to, how, what happened, or, and I don't think it's necessarily important for me to know. But I would say if someone has done you dirty over and over and over again, you need to probably question that person's character. And if that's the case, and if you question their character and you realize that maybe that's just how they are, there's no reason to continue. I know someone that I knew for 15 years. He had always made little slight comments that were just not appropriate. And one day I finally got tired of it and cut him out. And felt pretty good after doing so. Even though I'd known him for 15 years, it felt okay. Just because of the simple fact, if I didn't, I would be condoning a lot of the stuff that he said and did, which I didn't agree with. So you can look at it that way. Are you going to be a person that's condoning the person's actions, or are you going to stand up and stand for something and say, I'm not with that? You let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.